Good morning, fellow debt slayers. It's Money Saving Monday. It's Monday morning, January 6th, around 10:30 at the timing of this video. And I want to wish you and your family a very happy and joyous and prosperous 2025. So my name is Stephen Gallagher. I am a certified and trained debt coach, and my job or my mission is to help people like you address your debt and put a plan together to get out of debt. My company name is Debt Free Results. My website is www.debtfreeresults.com. And if you would like to schedule a free 1-hour session with me in the month of January of 2025, please go out to the website and schedule an appointment. So that's something that I'm offering to people as a New Year's resolution kickoff. It's non-binding. You do not have to use my services afterwards. You can talk to me about your debt, about your plan, about your budget, about what you're trying to do, and if it's working or if it's not, and I can try to give you some advice on how to get out of debt. So I hope that you'll take that free offer and reach out to me at debtfreeresults.com and schedule that appointment. If you schedule it for February or March or anything like that, that's not part of this resolution. This is just for the month of January. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about two methods. There are many methods on how to get out of debt. We're going to talk about two of them today because I could spend days talking about the different methods. But the two most popular methods are what we're going to talk about today. One is called the debt snowball method, and the other one is the avalanche method. They both come to the same resolution. They come to the same end point. It's just how you use these methods to address your debt. So we can talk about that in more detail. But before we do, I'd like to ask you if you could go down and like and subscribe to this channel. If you like what I'm talking about and the value that I can bring to you. I also invite you to send this link or this information to anyone that you know that needs help addressing debt. That could be siblings, that could be kids, that could be nieces and nephews, it could be coworkers, it could be anybody. Last year in 2024, Forbes magazine had published a statistic that said that 74% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and that is because of debt. So I know that there are people out there who need my assistance. They need my expertise. I have clients actually nationwide, and I have a few up in Canada, and I help people get out of debt. A lot of times people say, I don't know where my money is. And we had talked about step one in reference to the multi-step process that I follow. And when people go through the spending journal process, it's an eye-opener to people as to where they're spending their money on a day-to-day basis. So let's jump in. Like I said, also, if you recommend somebody to my website, which is debtfreeresults.com, this invitation for the free session is open to anybody. So if you refer your sibling or your kids or whoever, they can just go in, schedule an appointment, and again, it's only good for the month of January, okay, of 2025. So So let's jump into the two methods that we're going to talk about today, and talk about the difference of them, and see which one of these processes is something that you would be comfortable using in your debt-free journey. So I printed this off, and these two methods, one is called the Snowball method, and we'll go into detail of that in a moment. And the second one that we're going to talk about is the Avalanche method. Both of them work, and they both work well. It's just two ways to attack a debt. And so we're going to talk about the Snowball method. This is the one that I recommend to my clients the most. But I do have clients who say, no, I want to do the Avalanche method, and that's totally fine. I will talk to you in more detail about the two. But getting out of debt is 80% mental and 20% physical. And what I mean by that is you have to change your spending habits and your buying habits if you want to get out of debt. Your current mindset in reference to buying things and charging things and whatever isn't working because you're in debt now. And so we have to go in and really talk about the mental part of saying no. Whether it's a new shirt, whether it's a new car, whether it's a new whatever. It doesn't matter. It just means that we have to start saying no. And when the kids ask for things, you have to say no. It's a quick story. I was at Walmart this morning doing some shopping, and I was in the self-checkout line, and there was a lady with two kids, and they were, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11. And while I was checking out at my station, this lady was checking out at her station, and one of the kids walked over to her with I think it was a red Mountain Dew. And he was like, can I have this? Can I have this? And she said, just put it on the top. And then the girl went over and she got candy, and I forget what it was, but she got candy, and that's fine. I mean, if it is in your budget, then that's fine. But it's hard for parents to say no. So when you're on a budget, when you have X amount of dollars to spend in the course of a week, and you have the outside forces, if you will, in this case the kids, asking for a drink or for candy or a toy or whatever, I'm just using them as an example, the mental part is you have to say no. So let's talk a little bit about these two, and we'll go from there. So on the left side, which is the Snowball method, that's this one right here. This method, the Snowball method, takes your debt and we put them in a chart from the lowest to the highest. And for example, I just wrote this out. For example, this has nothing to do with interest rates. This has theoretically 5 credit cards, and I have down here, let's say this one says 1,000, this one says 2,000, this one says 2,500, this one says 4,500, and then this one says 8,500. I'm sorry, 8,540. And so the concept of the Snowball method is you make minimum payments on all the credit cards except for the smallest one. And you attack that card with every extra penny you have. So let's just say in this example, I'm putting $200 towards this card, and I'm putting $50 towards the other ones, okay? And then when this one gets paid off, what we do is we take that $200 and we bring it over to the second card. So instead of paying $50, now you're paying $250, okay? And we pay this one down. This might take months, okay? But you stay to this process. And then what we do is we take that $250 after this credit card is done, and we put it towards this $50. Now you're paying $300 a month towards this card, and so on and so on. That's the snowball, snowball method. So think of it as a snowball, a small snowball, and you roll it and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So here's the small one, and you're going bigger, bigger, and bigger. So this takes time, depending on how much debt you have. It's not based on credit card interest rate. It is based on the size of the debt on the different credit cards. Okay, so that's the snowball method. On the avalanche method, think of it as an avalanche going down instead of going up. This is based on this, the interest rate on the card. So in this case, I have a 30, a 29, a 28.5, 27, 19, and 14. So what you would do is, again, same method, i.e. these would be all the minimum payments, and then you would throw that $200 in this case, the same as the snowball method. You would throw the additional $200 towards this card and pay it down, and then you would go to this one and add the $50 and the $200 and then pay this down. So these are based on interest rates of the credit card, whereas this is based on the size of the debt on the credit card. So, on the Avalanche, you might have a high interest rate, and then you have a lower and lower and lower and lower. So the Avalanche goes down, whereas the snowball goes up. Okay, so there's just two methods to attacking debt. Back to what I was talking about in reference to the psychological part of attacking debt. The reason that I like the snowball method, and there's nothing wrong with either method, but I'm just saying on the snowball, when you pay this one off, it's a quick win, or it's a win, and then you go to the second win, and then you go to the third win. Whereas your debt snowball could be a high, a low, it's based on the interest rate. So you could have a lot of money on this credit card, and that one would be higher than this one or this one. So sometimes you're going down. You are going down in reference to the interest paid on the credit cards, but the debt might be higher. So you might be going from a high to a low to a high to a low to a low to a low. Okay, so those are the two methods that the two that are most popular in reference to attacking debt. If you like what you're hearing, please go down and click on the subscribe and the like button, and share this video to other people, because it can only help people if we share it. I'm a big believer of that. So it's going to take time. Mentally, you just have to be prepared to say no, to cut back on what you've done in the past, i.e. maybe going out to dinner every night, maybe going out for breakfast on Sundays after church. These things have to be reeled in so that we don't have so much debt. And if you stop spending and pay down your debt, then you're not going to be in so much debt. When my wife and I, back in 2017, we reached out to a debt coach when we were in Virginia, and we were in $90,000 in debt, and that didn't include our mortgage. That included a HELOC, that included 2 car payments, it included credit card bills, and following the method of the snowball method, we were able to get out of debt in 14 months. We focused on it. We just cut back on everything, and we've been debt-free ever since. And so, with my clients, it's getting your hands around what you're doing. It's getting your mind around what you're spending, and taking your mindset and changing it from spending to savings, or in this case, paying off debt. You can do this. I know you can do this because I've seen it done many times. With my clients, I have some that are already 100% debt-free. I have some that are in the different stages, whether they're paying off debt, whether they've started their rainy day fund. I've got a few that are in their spending journal phase. And so everyone's different. Everyone's at different levels of their journey. And I can help you go from being in debt with no structure and no vision to being able to put together a customized plan for you so that you can know when you'll have a credit card paid off. It might be 5 months from now, it might be 10 months from now, but it's nice to know that there's light at the end of your tunnel to say, in 10 months, I'm gonna have this paid off, and then I'm gonna have this one paid off, and then I'm gonna have this one paid off, and in a year, I'm gonna have all my credit cards paid off. It's nice to know that there is a plan in place to get out of debt, because when your debt is all paid off, and that next day when you guys get up and you wake up and you get that cup of coffee and you sit back and say, I am debt free, or we are debt free, it's such a great feeling. It's exhilarating. The coffee that you're going to drink or the tea that you're going to drink is going to taste so much better than it does today. Trust me, it does. That weight and stress and anxiety that's on your shoulders now, gone. And you can sit back and say to yourself, we did it. What I don't recommend that you do is tell people what you're doing, because naysayers will say you can't do it, and they will derail your mental mindset in reference to getting the job done. So it's easier to come back to somebody after the fact and say, I paid off all my debt. What are they going to say? They can't say you can't do it, or it's a long road and blah, blah, blah. Whereas if you say, this year I'm going to start paying off my debt, they're going to doubt you. And they might not mean to, but they'll call you on Friday and say, let's go out to dinner. And that's tempting, but you have to say no. So think about that. There are people out there who will say, no, you can't do this. No, it's never been done. No, no, no. Whereas when you get it done, and then you turn to people and say, I'm debt free. I have zero debt. What do they say? Congratulations. So it is possible to do this. I've seen it done many times. I and my wife are also living proof of this. So, I want you to know that you can do this. It's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it right away, but it can be done. And if you're focused on what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, and with my assistance and help in reference to the plans that we're going to make together, so that you'll know your roadmap to getting out of debt, there's nothing like it. So go to www.debtfreeresults.com, schedule a free 1-hour session with me. Let's sit down and talk about what your goals are. Why? Think about this. Why do you want to get out of debt? So that's the first thing that I have my clients do, my fellow debt slayers, your fellow debt slayers. The first thing I do before anything, I sit with people and I try to ask them, what is it that you want to accomplish? Why do you want to get out of debt? And with couples, I have you go away and I want you to really think about that question so that your why is going to be different from his why, or your why is different from his why. And that's perfectly fine. And it might be that your whys, your individual whys are the same, but it might not be. And everyone has their driving force, but the end result is the same, getting out of debt. So think about that. Think about why you want to get out of debt. It's a great question. It's something that you should really sit back and think about, and don't just spit it out right off the bat. Think about it. I want to get out of debt because of all the stress and anxiety that I have every day. Or I want to get out of debt now so that my kids can go to college debt-free. Or I want to get out of debt so that I can pay off my mortgage and not have a mortgage payment every month. Or I want to pay for things with cash and not have to worry about interest. Those type of thoughts. So think about it, write your whys down, keep that for yourself, and when you do sit down with your spouse, discuss it. This is not a process that one of the couples does debt-free and the other one doesn't. This has to be a we process, because if one wants to become debt-free and the other one's not on board, then this person over here is going to just keep doing what they're doing, and you're going to be defeated from the efforts. So it's your debt, it's your responsibility. The credit cards might be in each other's names, but it's your debt together, combined. So it has to be a joint effort. And also, when you start this process, if you guys sit down and talk to each other about this now, you're no better than your spouse. Your buying habits and spending habits are no better or no worse than your spouse. So you have to walk into this relationship as non-judgmental, no remarks, no remorse, no jabs about why'd you do this or why'd you do that. What is in debt is in debt, i.e. what's in the past is in the past. You two have to come together. You have to be able to address this together. Get rid of all the judgment and just say, this is our debt. Write it all down. Your credit cards, his credit cards, all your bills. And then put them together. And that's your bucket that we're going to address. So, again, Stephen with debtfreeresults.com. I invite you to visit our website. I invite you to schedule a 1 hour visit so that we can have a consultation, and that would be with both couples, both people in the couple. If you're single, of course, it's just you. But in reference to husband and wife, it's always together. I never do meetings with just one of the spouses, even though the other one might be busy or the other one's at work. You work your schedule around so that you're both together on the same page, and that way it's a good use of my time, but it's also a good use of your time. So, God bless. Have a great day. Happy 2025. I hope that it's a prosperous and happy and joyous year for you and your family. and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Again, Stephen with Debt Free Results. Have a great day. Bye-bye.